Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I'm feeling a lot of empathy at the moment for the Marsh family. I don't know if you've seen their version of Bonnie Tyler's Total Eclipse of the Heart about Lockdown 3, but yeah, it rang a bell with me mightily. Anyway, what have we got for you puzzle-wise today? We have got a brand new constructor, actually. The puzzle on the screen is by ICHTUES. And it's a rather interesting looking puzzle. It's called Areal Sudoku, which is A-R-E-A-L, which in English means, well, it's an adjective, means of an area. So I don't know why it's called that. It may have a translation that makes more immediate sense. I will rely on you guys to tell me what that is. Now, what else do I want to mention before we get started with this? By the way, it's a very highly rated puzzle on Logic Masters Germany, so it ought to be a lot of fun. Well, Groundhog Day Sudoku is available on Patreon at the moment, so if you're a patron of the channel, get over there and try it. Hundreds of you have done that, and we've had literally hundreds of correct solutions. It's got a great penny drop, and it's definitely worth probably about an hour of your time. I think if you're a good solver, it won't be more than that, but it'll be an hour very well spent. I just wanted to mention as well that our book is actually not that far away. We've done virtually all the videos now. Lots of the extra stuff has been written. The third puzzle hunt is in testing as I speak. So the end is in sight. I can see that it shouldn't be too long before we send it off for printing, which is amazing and quite exciting. So I'll give you an update as soon as I think that might be about to happen. Also, I do want to mention something quite exciting for next week, I hope, on the channel. A friend of mine, Tantan Dai, is, Tantan is the best female solver of Sudoku in the history of Sudoku, no doubt at all. She is an absolute phenomenon, and she's agreed to do an interview with us. So next week, technology allowing, which with me is perhaps a big if, but we hope to do an interview with Tantan where she reveals some of the secrets that have allowed her to basically become, well, one of the first or second best Sudoku solvers in the world, in my opinion. She is absolutely amazing, and I'm hoping that we'll learn some stuff from her next week, so look out for that. Now, what are the rules of ICHTUES' puzzle? You can see there's a lot going on in this grid. Let me read them to you. We have got normal Sudoku rules apply. In cages, digits must sum to the small clue in the top left corner of the cage. Each main diagonal must contain all of the digits from 1 to 9. So these are marked in blue. Along thermometers, digits must increase from the bulb end. Now, I think there is only one bulb in this puzzle. It looks like it's here. So we've got some stubby little thermometers. Basically, yeah, so this cell has to be lower than this cell. This cell also has to be lower than this cell, etc. So that's immediately quite interesting. And digits along an arrow must sum to the digit in its circle, and digits may repeat along an arrow. So if we look at this one here, those three cells, you add them up, and whatever they sum to, you put in the circle. And that's how the arrow clues work. So do have a go. The way to play, of course, as usual, is to click the link under the video. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking, and I'm going to start immediately with this thermometer, because you can see that this cell, in fact, has sort of positive and negative influences acting upon it. From a thermometer perspective, it's got to be lower than 4 cells in box 5. Because it's the bulb. But from an arrow perspective, it's got to be high enough that you can make these arrow totals work. Yeah, okay, so basically it has to be 5 is what this comes down to, because if it's higher than 5, if we try 6 here, what are we going to put at the ends of the thermometers? 7, 8, 9, that can't be 10, so that doesn't work. So we know it's lower than 6. Now, if it's lower than 5, well, for how on earth are we going to make these squares work, for example? They're both going to have to be 1, 3, and these cells definitely are not different. So, yeah, we can't do this. This has to be 5. These have to be 6, 7, 8, and 9. And these have to be 1, 2, 3, and 4. which means these have to also be 1, 2, 3 and 4. Ah, yeah, okay, and the way this will work is that if this domino, for example, adds up, is a 2, 3 pair, this will be a 1, 4 pair, and vice versa. So we've actually, well, we've made a start, which is often, this is definitely better than I often do at 5 minutes into the video. So, right, yeah, okay, so in row 5 and column 5, we've now got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 approximately placed. So those cells must be 6, 7, 8 and 9. Oh no! No! Ah! Oh! Bobbins, look, I've been bemoaning the last few weeks that I never get to put anything into killer Sudoku cages anymore because they're always useless. And this one, I could have done this straight away. A 24 cage in 3 cells has to be 7, 8 and 9, and it's been there from the start. Oh, well, and now, well, I'm coming to it late, but it is a useful late because this square has got to be 6 now. It can't be 7, 8 and 9. Now, what can we do with that? We've now got a quadruple in the column. That square's interesting. That square, in fact, is very interesting. If we look at this column, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. But this square sees 5 on the diagonal, so it's not 5. And it can't be 1 or 2 because it's in a 20 cage. And 20 in 3 cells, we've got to put at least 3 into this square. So we now know there's a 9 in this domino. This is either, if this is 3, this is an 8, 9 pair. If it's 4, it's a 7, 9 pair. There's definitely a 9, which means there's not a 9 on this arrow circle. We can probably go further with the 6th clue, actually, because we can't. Oh, we can repeat a digit, of course, can't we? Ah, okay. So, right, what we can't do is just write in that this is a 1, 2, 3 triple. It might be a 1, 2, 3 triple, but it doesn't need to be because we could repeat a digit. Whatever goes in here can repeat in those 2 squares without breaking the rules of Sudoku. I mean, it can't be a 5, that's clear, and it can't be a 4 because that would need a double 1 here. So this is either a 1, 2, 3 triple, or if this is a 1 and you're repeating a digit, this would have to be 1 and 4. If it's a 2 and you're repeating the 2, no, you can't repeat the 2, because if you repeat the 2, you have to put 3 2s on the arrow, and that will definitely break box 1. So if there is a repeat, it's just of the 1. So let me just fix this in my head. This is either a 1, 2, 3 triple, or it's a 1, 1, 4. Can we do something with that? We've got a actually, look, we've now got a quintuple in box 1. These 5 squares have to be 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So these 4 squares have to be 6, 7, 8 and 9. And the 6, look, has to be in this domino, which means the 6 has to be in this triple. And that means, I don't know what that means. Can we work out what this is? This is either 3, 8, 9 or 4, 7, 9. Which means that if we put 3 here, do we have an issue? Oh, we do have, yeah, we do have an issue. This definitely can't be 3. And I'm just wondering whether it can be, I'm not sure it can be 2 either, because you can't. Let's look at 3 first. If this is 3, where do we put 3 now in box 1? The answer is nowhere. It can't go anywhere. It can't go there by Sudoku. And if we put a 3 here, we'd have to put 0 on the arrow. And although I can do that in the software nowadays, I definitely can't do that without breaking the rules of Sudoku. So this is not 3, and we looked at whether this could be 2 with a repeat earlier. It can't be. If you put 2 here, 2 can't go there by Sudoku, and it can't go back on the arrow by Sudoku, or by arrow, or whatever, because you're going to have 2 2s in order to make all of this equal to 6. So this has to be, I think this has to be a 1, which means, yeah, and now we ask the question, where does 1 go in box 1? And it can only go on the arrow now. So this is a 1-4 pair. Oh, and that means that square's a 3. This is lovely. That's a 3. This must be 3, 8, 9. That means that's a 6, 7 pair. This is not 8 anymore. This cell's automatically getting interesting now because a 3-cell arrow with a low total is going to be restricted. 4, oh, not quite. 3. Oh no, look. Yeah, okay, these two squares have to be 2 and 5 to complete the box. And that means this square is a 4. It's a naked single. This square is now not 1 or 4, which means this domino, which adds up to 5, is a 2, 3. Whoopsie, I pressed the wrong button there. So this is 2, 3. That must be 1, 4. That's not 1, so that's not 4. And that's not 4, so that's not 1. Okay. Now, can we go a little bit further? 4, yes, we can. 4 has to be in one of those 3 squares. 7 has to be in one of these 3 squares. Oh, I've not looked at the diagonal at all. Hang on, let me check the diagonal. We've got... No, okay, that's a relief. That diagonal doesn't do anything. This diagonal also doesn't seem to do anything, so I'm relieved. No one will have been shouting at me about the diagonals, at least not yet. I'm sure there'll be plenty of opportunity. Now, let's see, what else can we do? Can we do 8, 9 here? 8, 9, but yeah, actually, this is very interesting. 9 especially, and yeah, this is gorgeous. 8, 9 in row 1. Where do we put 8s and 9s in box 3? The answer is not many places at all. 9, let's look at 9 first. 9 is not there. You can never put 9 in an 11 cage. You can never put 9 on an arrow. So 9 is definitely in this domino. But 8 is also difficult here, because if you put 8 in the 11 cage, you have to put 1, 2 and 8 in, and that's going to make this too high. Because once you use up the 1 and the 2 in the box, not on the arrow, the best you'll do there is a 3, 4 pair, but this is too small. You can't put 0 in here, so once this is a positive integer, it breaks the circle, which means that 8 also is not there. 8 can't be on the arrow either because it's a 3-cell arrow. So the 8 joins the 9, and we get an 8, 9 pair in box 3, which means we get 8s and 9s in 2 positions in box 2. Well, 2 of these 3 positions. And we can keep going, keep going. Oh, is it going to keep going, or am I grinding to a halt? We can... Well, actually, whatever you put in this square is a problem. Well, not a problem, but it's interesting to think about. Whatever is in this circle, where does it go in the box? It can't go in those squares by Sudoku, and you can't put it on its own arrow. If this was 7, you can't put 7 on its arrow. Similarly, if it's 6, you can't put 6 in its arrow. So whatever goes in that square goes in the 11 cage in that domino, and that gives us an opportunity to colour something in. So we can colour it in. Whatever this is goes in there. And that means whatever this isn't, yeah, okay, so whatever this, if this is 7, the 7 will go in there. Now the 6 then can't go in the 11 cage because 7 plus 6 is 13. So where are we putting the 6? We can't put 6 on the arrow because it's a 3-cell arrow, and if it's adding up to, you know, you're going to have to add on 2 to whatever this is or this isn't, and you're going to break the total. So sorry, I'm not being very articulate, but if we put 7 in there, I'm asking where 6 can go. If we try and put 6 on the arrow, it won't work. Similarly, if we do it the other way around and we try and put 7 on the arrow, it's even clearer, it won't work. So whatever this isn't can't go in the 11 cage, can't go on the arrow, so has to go in those 2 squares. So one of these 2 squares, right, yeah, okay, so now we know that there's a virtual 6-7 pair in row 1. One of these 2 is 6 or 7, and this is 6 or 7. And I'm just going to keep doing this. Where does 5 now go in box 3? Because 5 can never go in the 11 cage anymore, because that we know the 11 cage has a 6 or a 7 in these 2 squares. Now 5 could go on the arrow with double 1. Ah! Oh, that's annoying. I was about to say this means 5 goes in here. Oh no, 5 does not go on the arrow, but for a complicated reason. If we try and put 5 on the arrow, what do we have to put in here? Well, it has to be 7, because if we try and put 5 in here, for example, we've got to keep these down in order to allow us to meet one of the totals that's allowed here. So if we put 5 on the arrow, we have to put double 1 on the arrow, which means that this square has to be a 7, which means 7 goes in the purple. And how do you make an 11 cage with a 7 in it? It needs the 1. It must be 7, 1, 3. So there is no 5 on the arrow. And that means 5 is in the green. And therefore we have a 5, 6, 7 triple in row 1. We know this is there's definitely a 5 in there. And the 6 or the 7 will go in the other square. And we are slowly whittling away at this. Oh, whoopsie, I've made a mess of that. I didn't mean to do that. I just want to put 1, 2 and 4 in those squares. There we are. Now this one can't be a 4, because if this is a 4, what do you put in those 2 squares? Well, the only thing that will make this square work, you'd have to go 4, 1, 2. But now this square has no value, because it can't be 1, 2 or 4. So that square is not 4. Now, can we... So one of the squares... This is 6, you get 6 in here, which means you need another 5. So this would have to add up to 5. If this is 7, you've got to have 7 in here with 1, 3. This would have to be a 1, because it can't be a 3. No, hang on. That doesn't work, does it? Because that means I've got to put... Nah, that doesn't work. Sorry, it's actually simpler than I was making it. 7 here is impossible. Let's just deal with that. If you put 7 here, you've got to put 7 in this domino here. Now this square can only be a 1, because it needs to be a 1 or a 3 in order to make this 1, 3, 7 triple work. Once this is 1, look, this square can't be 1 anymore. So it has to be 2. But now we know that this is 7, 1 and 3. We know that this, by Sudoku, is a 2, 4 pair. Now, 2 plus 2 plus 4 does not, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, it doesn't add to 7. It adds to 8. There's a knowledge bomb for you. So hang on, let me just go back to here. So we got rid of the 4 from that square. And now I've got rid of the... Now this can't have a 7 in it. So this must be a 6. And we are... Well, I don't know what we are yet, but we are definitely advancing slowly. 6 can't be in these squares. So we now know, yeah, by maths. Oh, I get the opportunity to let you in on a secret here. Let's look at this box. What do these shaded cells add up to? A complete box of a Sudoku. Well, we're going to find all of the digits 1 to 9 in the shaded cells. All of the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45. Now let's count this box now. We've got 12, plus 11 is 23, plus 17 is 40. So this adds up to 5, but it's on an arrow that adds up to 6. So this square is a 1. This one sees that square. So this is now a 2-3 pair, which means we know, it means we know that this is a 1-4 pair, and this 1-4 pair can only go one way round, which fixes this one. Oh no, not quite. 4 can still be, I don't know where 4 goes in box 2. I thought it was going to be here, but it doesn't look like it has to be. 1 has to be on the left hand side of box 8 now. Look, 1-4 pair here, or 1-4 goes into this cell. Now this domino adds up to 5, but it can't be a 1-4 pair then, because it will clash with this square. So this must be a 2-3 pair, and that gives us that digit. That's got to be 4. That means that's 2. That means, 2, yeah, look. Don't forget the diagonal. Do not forget the diagonal. That's got to not be 4. That might be useful. I don't know. Oh, yeah, hang on, look. Hang on, I've got a... Yeah, look at this diagonal. I've got a quadruple and a 4 and a 5 on it. So these squares are 1, 2 and 3. That is not 6. Which I probably could have spotted a while ago. This square is not 1 by Sudoku. This is a 1-6 pair to make up 11. That's not 1, it's 2-3 pair. 2-3 pair on the diagonal, so that means this square is a 1. That's not a 1. The 2-3 pair sees that square, so that's got to become a 5. That's a 2. The 2 sees that square, that's a 3. That's a 2. That's a 3. That's a 2. Good Lord. And there's a 2 in one of those squares. And 3 must be down there. Oh, that's not such a good deduction. 2 must also be down there, look, in these 3 cells. 2-3 pair there. We've got, hang on, another thing about this diagonal is, look, the 6 on it has to be in the central box. So one of those 2 squares has to be 6, which means there's no 6 in those 2 cells. Let's check the other diagonal. Can't see anything there. That might mean... I'm not sure. Okay, so let's take stock. Where do we look now? What have we... 1, look. 1 by Sudoku has to be in... it's in one of those 2 cells. 2, 3... we should look at this arrow, because this square... Oh, in fact, look, yeah, hang on. We've got all sorts going on this arrow. This square has to, well, it could be 1, but if it's not 1, it has to be big. It's got to be at least 5, and it can't be 7, because you can't go 7 double 1 there. So this is 1, 5 or 6, but this square... so we know what this square is, because look, you can't put 1 or 2 on this in this cell. So this cell has to be at least 3, which means this domino adds up to at least 5. Now if that adds up to 5, if I don't make this 1, if I make it 5 or 6, It's definitely a 2-digit number that we need in there, which is impossible. So this is 1, which means this is 1, which means, what does it mean? Oh, I know what it means. That 1 is on the diagonal. It's seeing that cell. So that square's not 1. That's got to be 4. Oops, that's a 1. 4 goes here by Sudoku. 1 fixes the 1 and the 6 over this side. The 6 fixes the 6 and the 7 back over this side. This square's got to be 5 to complete the row. And those squares are 7, 8, and 9 in some order yet to be determined. 5 lives in this domino. 7 is on the diagonal and fixes that this is an 8, 9 pair, which means that this is a 6, 7 pair, which means that that is not a 7. This is amazing. It's bouncing around all over the place, this puzzle. Okay, but let's just take stock for a second and see if we can work out what we should be doing next. Have we got something as a result of all of those things that just happened? We've now got most of this diagonal done. We need a 2 and a... look, yeah, this diagonal, we need a 2 and a 6 to finish it. There's a 6 there. So this is 6. This is 2. That's not 2. That's not 2. There's a 6 in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. There is probably something we can do with the 13 cage, can we? Not sure. I can see that we need this domino to add up to 11, and it can't be 2, 9 or 5, 6, so it's 3, 8 or 4, 7. Not immediately seeing whether we can resolve that. Nearly do something with 4s, but not quite. Let's just check this square, because that completes this arrow clue. So it can't be 1 or 2, or 6 or 7, but it could, I think, be 3, 4 or 5. Is there any reason we can rule out one of those or more? The answer is I don't know whether we can or not. 6, look. Oh, hang on, look. This 6, which I got from this diagonal, is pointing at that cell. And that means this square is a 6, apparently. So 6 is now in one of those 2 squares. Does that matter? That's the question. No, does that affect this domino? No, it's the same. This domino is still restricted to the same digits. Although, just thinking about the fact you can't have a 6 in this domino means you can't have a 5 in this domino. And that is rather cool, because that means where does the 5 go in row 9 of the grid? It can't go there, or here, or there, or there. So it goes there. And my pencil marks are telling me that this square is a 4 now, which I'm not sure. Yeah, it is a 4. Does that mean... Yeah, this is gorgeous. This is gorgeous for 2 reasons. Firstly, I'm just noticing this square is restricted. This can't be 9. I don't know how long that's been impossible, but we've now got... Yeah, okay, this is now 7 or 8, depending on what this square is. But this 4 here is locking a 4 into my 13 cage now. So this needs to be 4 and 7 in order to make 11, which added to the 2 gets us to the right number. 7 is now appearing in columns 7 and 8 in boxes 3 and 9. So let's ask where 7 goes in column 9 of the grid. It's not in any of those cells. So it must be in one of these 3 squares, which means it's not here, which gives us an 8, 9 pair in column 8. The 4, 7 sees that square. That's easier. That's an 8, therefore. The 8 fixes not only the 9 over here, but also that this square has to now be a 3, I think, which means this square is a 2. Which means this square, oh look, this square is a 2. Which means this square is a 6 by Sudoku, and this square is a 5, unwinding our pencil marks. This 6 sees the 6, 7 in the middle. That's not 7 anymore. Oops, that's not 7 anymore. This square here has got to be a 3 to complete the row, which means this square needs to be a 7 or a 9. And all of a sudden we're actually doing... Actually, I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm not going to be hoisted by my own petard. I'm just going to be quietly grateful that this hasn't taken absolutely ages yet. Now, what can we do down here? I've still not looked at this arrow, actually. And this square sees a lot. Oh, in fact, yeah. In fact, what does this square equal? If it's not equal to 3, it's got to be a 7, 8, or a 9, and it can't... No, it can't be. It can't even be... No, it definitely can't be 7. So this is 3, which means this square is 7, 8, or 9. Now this... So we've now got 4 on the arrow plus this square. So this square is not 7. So this square also has to be 3, 5. It has to be 3 or 5. Oh, but it could be 3, because you can repeat digits on arrows. So this could be 7 here, or 9. It can't be 8, because this can't be 4. And this can't be 9 now. If this is 9, this is 5. And where are we putting 5 and 9? In box 9 of the grid. This square cannot be a Schrödinger cell. It cannot be simultaneously alive and dead and be a 5 and 9 at the same time. So, given that, this square cannot be a 9 and must be a 7, which means this square is a 3, which means probably some other things. It means that... It must mean... Does it not do more than that? Oh yeah, it does. That 3 fixes the 3 there. This square now can't be 7, so this gives us an 8, 9 pair in the box, which means this is a 5, 7 pair, which we now can resolve. We've got 8, 9 pairs all over the place, and we still haven't put 5 in here. Or 5, 8, 9. I have a feeling that's resolvable, but I can't see how to do it. Have I done the diagonals now? No, this 3 is seeing... Sorry, this 3 is seeing that square. 2, 3. Let's hope this doesn't completely undermine everything I've just been doing. I don't think it does, actually. Oh, it gives me a 2 here. But it doesn't seem to do anything more than that. Don't worry about anything. No, you couldn't have got anything else, I'm sure. Now this square, unfortunately, you could have got. That's got to be a 6. So these squares now, what are oh, in fact, this square maybe 5, 8, or 9. It's definitely not 7. I've got a feeling again that I'm... Oh, this 9. Gosh, I just need to keep looking at the diagonals rather than not looking at the diagonals. That would really be sensible. That fixes that this is an 8. This is not 8 anymore. This column still needs 4, 5, and 7 in it. This square's got to be 4 or 5. This square's got to be 4, 5, or 9. This diagonal's done. This diagonal is still not done. something I think must give around here, because everything else seems to have the ominous look of a deadly pattern about it. So let's just take stock and see how we finish this off. We've got this arrow. What am I missing here? This 4, 5, 7, no, that looks okay. 5, oh, for goodness sake, Simon. Now I can feel the hilarity burning through the webcam at me. There seems to be a lot of 8, 9 pairs everywhere. Is there, oh, I see, it's this. This is a triple, of course, so that means that's an 8. And is that actually going to bounce back somehow in here and fix it? I guess it must do. 9, 7, 8, 7, 9, 7, 8. Oh yeah, it does, look. It gets that square and that square, and that it does. That's really clever. So that's the 4 and the 7, that's the 7 and the 5. That's a 5, that's an 8. And we should be able to use the 9 here to do the 9 and the 8 and the 8 and the 9. Click check, and that is how to solve a beautiful puzzle by ICHTUES. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Let me know in the comments. I do read them. And yeah, it was very, very enjoyable indeed. It had a great start with a sort of, you know, the trickery around the middle and these patterns. I really liked that digit, and the fact that that sort of prevented that we could lock this from not being a 2 and a 3. That was really clever. And then I did like this stuff over here as well. There was sort of weirdnesses going on, weren't there, that allowed us to interact these arrows. Really clever again. And then that seemed to lead down here somewhere, and then I think I got a bit messed up with the diagonals, but in the end I found my way through it. Really clever. And yeah, as I say, we'll be back for another edition later on. Thanks for watching.